Hello dear friends. In this video we are going to continue with the chapter Perseus and the Gorgon. In part 1 of this chapter we had read that Perseus had promised King Polydectes that he would get him any gift that he wanted. Cleverly, King Polydectes had asked Perseus to bring him the head of Medusa. Perseus, as promised, had set off on the journey to bring Medusa's head. As guided by Hera, he had gone to the three grey witches. While reaching the cave of the three grey witches, Perseus had tried to be very careful so that the witches would not come to know that he was approaching their cave. Yet, one of the witches had come to realize that somebody had come towards their cave. The three witches shared one eyeball and they were passing it amongst each other, trying to see what was happening around them. One of the witches had become aware of Perseus's presence and had told her other two sisters about it, but the other witches could not see Perseus and thus were trying to get hold of the eyeball. Now come along, friends. Let's read and see how the witches reacted to Perseus's presence near their cave. Her sister grabbed the eye.
I can't see anything. Give it to me,
Screeched the other one. When the first witch told her sisters that someone had come over there, the second witch grabbed the eye that they shared amongst each other. To grab something means to take hold of something or someone suddenly and roughly. The second sister claimed that she could not see anything or anyone over there. The third sister then asked for the eyeball. She screeched, means that she spoke in a high-pitched and unpleasant voice. Just then, as the second sister was handing over the eye, Perseus lunged forward and grabbed it from her. When the second witch was handing over the shared eyeball to the third witch, Perseus lunged forward. That means Perseus suddenly moved forward with great force and he grabbed the eyeball from the third witch. The witches were confused.
What can you see?
Demanded the first witch.
Who has the eye? Give it to me,
Croaked the third witch.
You have it, you fool,
Hissed the second witch. Perseus had grabbed the eyeball which was shared by the three witches. So now those three witches could not see what was happening around them and they got completely confused. They started asking each other that which one of them had the eye. You will notice that whenever the writer is talking about the witches speaking, he is using words like screeched, croaked, hissed, because he wants us to realize that the witches spoke in a very unpleasant, high-pitched or angry manner. Perseus spoke loudly. I have your eye. You can have it back in return for what I need. So at this point of time, when the witches were looking for their eyeball, then Perseus loudly announced to them that he had their eye and he threatened them. He told them that he would return the eyeball to them only when they would give him what he needed. The witches wailed and pleaded. To wail means to cry loudly. To plead is to request. So the witches started crying and requesting Perseus.
Give us back our eye. Tell us what you want.
So now the witches requested Perseus to return their eyeball to them and they also asked him what he wanted. Take me to the nymphs of Hera, demanded Perseus. Perseus asked the witches to take him to the nymphs of Hera from whom he could get the bag in which he could carry Medusa's head. The witches knew they had no choice. They led him to the west and delivered him to Hera's garden. Now, The witches knew that they needed their eyeball, and thus they had to do what Perseus said. The witches led Perseus to the west and delivered him to Hera's garden means that they took him to the west and helped him reach Hera's garden. Perseus then returned their eye to them. The nymphs of Hera were very happy to help Perseus. They gave him a silver knapsack to safely contain Medusa's head. So, as we have discussed, nymphs are goddesses in the form of young women found in mountains, trees, or rivers. So, because they were good at heart, they were happy to help Perseus so that he could kill Medusa. They gave him a silver knapsack. The word knapsack refers to a backpack. So they gave him a silver backpack in which Medusa's head could be safely carried. Perseus set off again, ready to tackle the Gorgon. So now Perseus once again started on his journey, and he was ready with all the gifts that he had received to fight the Gorgon Medusa and defeat her. Long before he got to the entrance to the Gorgon's cave, Perseus knew he was in the right place. Now, even before Perseus had reached the cave in which the Gorgons, Medusa and her sisters lived, he understood that he had reached the place where he would find the Gorgons. And how did he realize this? No creatures came near the place, so there was no noise except the sound of his footsteps in the creepy silence. As Perseus got closer to the cave in which the Gorgons lived, he noticed that neither humans nor other animals went close to that cave. So as he walked towards the cave, the only sound that he could hear was the sound of his own footsteps. The silence that surrounded him was very creepy because it was very unpleasant and scary. The petrified remains of men in frozen poses of terror were all around him. As Perseus continued walking towards the cave, the closer he got, the more scary sights he saw. He now saw the statues of men who had been turned to stone by Medusa, and on the faces of those statues one could see complete terror. Perseus crept as quietly as possible through the forest of statues, making his way to the mouth of the cave. Perseus crept means that Perseus walked as quietly as possible without attracting anyone's attention towards the mouth of the cave, which means towards the opening of the cave in which the three Gorgons lived. He was walking through a forest of statues indicates that there were many men over there who had been turned to stone by Medusa. So one could see the statues of those men with terror on their faces as one got closer towards the cave of the Gorgons. He put on his helmet and slowly walked in. So now Perseus put on the helmet which had been given to him by his father's Zeus, which helped him to turn invisible, and then slowly he walked into the cave of the Gorgons. Using his polished shield as a mirror to find his way through the cave, he came across the sleeping bodies of the Gorgons. Perseus was very intelligent. He understood that if by mistake also he looked at Medusa's face, he would turn into stone. So he looked at the shield, which was polished to such an extent that it was reflecting images like a mirror, and looking at that polished shield, he made his way into the cave. He came across the sleeping bodies of the Gorgons, means that he saw the bodies of the Gorgons who were fast asleep reflected in the polished shield. Perseus almost gasped out loud at the reflection in his shield of Medusa's hideous face. To ensure that the Gorgons would not wake up and attack him, Perseus was trying to be very quiet. Medusa's face was hideous means that Medusa's face was extremely ugly. Therefore, when Perseus saw the reflection of Medusa's face in his polished shield, he almost gasped out loud. That means he almost drew in a quick breath and made noise which could have woken up the Gorgons, including Medusa. But Perseus managed to calm himself and remained quiet. He took a slow, deep breath to calm himself, raised his sword, and with one swift blow, he chopped off the monstrous head. The monstrous head over here, but of course refers to the head of Medusa. Perseus chopped it off with his sword in one quick movement. Quickly, without looking at it, he scooped the head into the knapsack and set off. Perseus did not look at Medusa's cut-off head. Still looking into his shield, he scooped Medusa's head up, which means that he picked it up in one smooth and swift movement and put it into the knapsack that he had got from the nymphs of Hera. That means the backpack that he had got from the nymphs. And then he set off. He went away from the cave back towards his home. Medusa's sisters had woken up and they ran out of the cave just behind Perseus. When Perseus killed Medusa, picked up her head and put it in the knapsack, Medusa's sisters, the other two Gorgons, woke up. And they ran out of the cave to follow Perseus and attack him. They could not see him, but they could follow the scent of their sister and the trail of blood. Perseus was wearing the helmet and holding the sword that was given to him by god Zeus. That is why he was invisible. So the other two Gorgons could not see him. Yet they were able to follow him because they could smell the head of their sister in the knapsack, and they could also see the drops of blood that were left on the ground as Perseus carried the head of Medusa in the backpack that he had. Although they were quick, once they were out of the cave, they could not follow Perseus because he flew away on his winged sandals and left them far behind. The Gorgons were very quick in their movements and they were following Perseus because they could smell the head of Medusa and see the drops of blood left behind by the severed head, which was kept in the knapsack held by Perseus. Yet they could not catch Perseus because Perseus very quickly flew away on the winged sandals that he had been given by Hermes. This was not the end of Perseus's adventure. An adventure refers to an experience which is exciting and daring. After killing Medusa, Perseus's adventure had not ended because he was still going to do a lot of exciting and daring things. On the way home, as he flew along the coast, he saw a young woman tied to a rock in the sea. He flew down to free her. Perseus was basically a good, honest and helpful man. When he was going back to Seriphus Island to his home, he was flying along the coast and he saw a young woman tied to a rock in the sea. He was surprised at the sight and he flew downwards to go and free her. "No, you must leave me. I am Andromeda and I must be sacrificed to the sea serpent in order to stop him from attacking our people." The person tied to the rock was a beautiful woman named Andromeda, and she told Perseus that he should not free her because she was tied over there as a sacrifice to the sea serpent so that he would not attack the people of that land. Perseus admired her bravery but did not want to see her killed. Now Perseus was impressed by how brave Andromeda was, but he did not want to watch her get killed. "I will fight the monster and save you," he promised. So he promised Andromeda that he would fight the monster and kill it so that she could be saved. "Be careful, brave one," said Andromeda. The sea serpent was ferocious and fought hard. The sea serpent was ferocious means that the sea serpent was very fierce, cruel and violent. So it was not easy to defeat the sea serpent. Perseus flew in and out of its coils and sliced at it with Zeus's sword. Coils refers to the circular manner in which a snake's body is seen at times, or at times a rope is kept. So Perseus flew in and out of the coils of the serpent's body with the help of the winged sandals that he had, and using Zeus's sword, he was easily able to slice, which means cut into pieces, the body of the serpent. The battle lasted a long time until eventually the sea was red with the serpent's blood and it sank to its death beneath the waves. So Perseus had to fight the serpent for a long time. But eventually, ultimately, he was able to kill the serpent. The water of the sea turned red with the blood of the serpent, and its dead body then ultimately sank to the bottom of the sea. "Come with me," said Perseus to Andromeda, and she agreed. So Andromeda, of course, agreed to go with Perseus because Perseus had saved her. Back in Seriphus, King Polydectes was holding another banquet when Perseus strode through the door. "I have your gift," he announced. When Perseus reached Seriphus, King Polydectes was holding another banquet, which means that he had a big party at his palace and a lot of people were present at that banquet. Perseus strode means that Perseus walked into that banquet with long steps and very confidently, and he told Polydectes that he had brought his gift. The king laughed disbelievingly. "Show me," he commanded. The king laughed at Perseus and did not believe that he had actually killed Medusa and brought Medusa's head. So he ordered Perseus to show him Medusa's head. And this, of course, was a very foolish thing to do because looking at Medusa's head turns people into stone. Perseus closed his eyes tightly and pulled Medusa's head from the bag. The king and everyone in his court were instantly turned into stone. So because of the king's foolishness that he wanted to look at Medusa's head, everybody in the court and the king also were turned to stone when Perseus did take out Medusa's head from the silver knapsack. But Perseus himself was intelligent and had closed his eyes when he had taken out Medusa's head so that he was saved. From then on, Seriphus was ruled by kind Dictys. Danae was happy to see Perseus home safely, and everyone celebrated when Perseus and Andromeda were married. So ultimately we come to the happy ending of the story. Perseus was not power hungry. He did not claim the throne and himself became king. Instead, he put Dictys on the throne and Dictys became the king of Seriphus. He was a kind man and became a good ruler. Danae, Perseus' mother, was very happy to see him come back home safely. Perseus got married to Andromeda, the woman that he had saved, and everyone celebrated their marriage because Perseus had become everyone's savior, as he had ensured that the cruel king Polydectes was removed from the throne and Seriphus was ruled by the kind king Dictys. So this is the story about how Perseus, a demigod, the son of god Zeus, and a human named Danae, killed Medusa, a gorgon. I hope that all of you have been able to better understand this chapter with the help of this video. Please do like the video and subscribe to our channel.